"You heard that, right?" And she goes, "Yeah, they came downstairs." But let me tell you the craziest part, right? The craziest part that happened. They came downstairs with a bag of something, right? And we were like, "Oh, what's that?" And they were like, "Oh, you don't want to see it." Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel. I am going to be doing a story time for you guys today. I'm so excited to share this with you because I've shared it with so many people and some believe me, some don't believe me, but I swear on my children's life, this is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So I'm here to share my experience that I had in Pakistan, and it was a paranormal experience. We moved to Pakistan and I was going to school there, and did you hear that? It was the times of Ramadan, I believe, and I was really into praying and reading, and you know, it was a very good Ramadan for me that year, alhamdulillah. I was really practicing and all that stuff. So the first time it happened, I was studying. I was on my bed studying. My brother and sister were sleeping next to me. They used to sleep in my bed. This is way before I got married or anything like that. So my brother and sister used to sleep in the same room as me, and I was on the bed studying, and I usually just used to leave the TV on, just to some background noise. I don't know, some people just study like that. So the TV was on, and all of a sudden the channel changed, and the remote was like all the way near the TV, like across the room. So I looked at the TV and I was like, okay. So I grabbed the remote and I put the same channel back on. And then what happened is that it changed again. So this time I switched the TV off, right? I switched the TV off, I sat back down, and it turned on. The TV turned on. So now I'm like a bit taken aback, like, hold on a minute, this is a bit freaky. So I just sit down and I'm just staring at the TV at this point. I'm just staring, waiting for it to move. I'm looking at the remote control, looking at the TV, just to see any movements or whether it turns on, whatever not. Then what happens? My bathroom door opens. And let me tell you this, right? My bathroom door, it was basically an ensuite. In Pakistan, you usually have ensuite. So every bedroom, you have a toilet with it. So my bathroom door, you have to pull the handle down to open the door. So I was a bit like, hold on a minute, there's no wind, no windows were open because we had the AC on because it was boiling hot. So I'm just there like, and at this point I'm like freaked out. So I go downstairs and start banging on my parents' door. I'm like, open the door, like there's something going on in my room. I go to we had a helper that used to live with us as well. She used to help around with the cleaning up, and you know, she was our caretaker basically when my mom used to go to work and stuff like that. So I even woke her up and she's like, no, you're exaggerating, nothing like that probably happened, you're just making it up, whatever not. And when I went to wake her up, it was really funny because I used to break out a lot in those days, and I had like cream on my spots. So she started screaming, and because of her screaming, my brother and sister woke up as well. It was quite funny. But then, so she was like, okay, don't worry, I'll come and sleep in your room so that you feel a bit more like less scared. So I was like, okay. So I'm waiting for her to get her stuff. You know, she had to grab her blanket and pillow and all that stuff. So I'm there and I'm just, so my bedroom's door is here, right? And my bathroom's door is here, right? So it's like against this wall, but away, and then this door is here. So I'm standing in my bedroom door and I'm just staring at the door. I'm just staring at the door to see if it opens. I went and closed it first, right? I went and shut the door properly, and then I went and stood in my bedroom's door, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stare at it now and just see what happens. So I'm just standing there staring at the door. As soon as I look away, I look to my right to see if she's got her stuff. I look to my right and I hear and I'm like, I started screaming. I was like, oh my god, I was gathering the whole house. I was like, look, see, I'm telling you the truth. It happened in front of my eyes. That was the last of that. I literally locked the bathroom door from the outside after that. And we went to sleep and all of that happened. I knew that, you know, what I saw was real. And then it started happening on a regular basis. Like, I used to hear water inside the toilet when nobody was in there, and I'd go inside and the sink would be wet, but nobody went in the toilet. And then there was times where I used to wake up, and because it was Ramadan, I used to like have my Quran near my bed and my prayer mat near my bed. So I woke up and the prayer mat was on the floor laid out, but it was facing the opposite side of Mecca. So like it was facing the opposite side of where it should be facing. And I asked my parents and they were like, no, we didn't do that. You know, I was like, what's going on? And then once I woke up and my Quran was the wrong way around, so it was like upside down. So that creeped me out a bit as well. But at this point I was like, okay, like there's definitely something in this house, and for some reason it's only messing about with me. Once I remember me and my uncle, we were standing underneath the stairs downstairs, and we heard footsteps like on the stairs. Literally, like it sounded like somebody was coming down, and then we heard like breathing, and we both heard it. Me and my uncle used to get a lot of experiences, and we were the only two that used to get it. So everyone else used to be like, oh, you guys are just making it up, you guys watch too many horror movies, there's nothing in this house, and all that kind of stuff. But we knew what we used to hear and what we experienced. I remember once I was sleeping, and you know that sleep when you're just like half asleep, but you can hear everything going on around you, but you're asleep. If that's happened to you guys or happens to you guys, put it in the comments down below, because I don't want to be the only crazy one out here. So I was in that kind of sleep, and I heard a child saying in Urdu, I heard them saying, should we wake her up? And then the girl child goes, no, don't wake her up, let her sleep. And I open my eyes, like all of a sudden, because I heard it. So I was like, and I looked around the whole room. I went downstairs to see where my brother and sister were. They were at school or wherever they were. And my mum was downstairs on the phone. And I was like, did anyone come upstairs? And she goes, no. So I was like, okay then. It was just crazy. Like, I knew what was happening, and I told my parents every time something happened. So they decided to get the people that come and check for spirits in your house and stuff like that. And they came and they said that, oh, there's a man and there's 2 kids. And I was like, whoa, like that's so legit. Like the man, the breathing we used to hear, and then obviously the 2 kids that I heard. So I was a bit taken aback, like, oh my gosh, this is actually real. And then they also said that they're not Muslims, they're of a different religion, and that's why they keep on sort of, they put your stuff upside down and all this kind of stuff as a joke. They basically got attracted to the way I was practicing religion, because my toilet was here, right? The door's here, so my toilet's here, and where I used to pray was like a little corridor right in front of my toilet, because my bed was here. So it was like this little mini area where I used to pray, because that was the empty area in my room, and that's where my prayer mat used to be and all that stuff next to my bed. And obviously all that stuff started happening and whatnot. And they were like, oh, they're passengers, they're travelers, so they travel through your toilet's door, and like that's their way of passage, because they don't really care about walls and doors and all that kind of stuff. So that was their way. And they were traveling one day, and they just ended up getting interested, and they just ended up staying, basically. Now the caretaker that we used to have, she never believed anything I said. She was so adamant that no, you're over exaggerating, there's nothing like that. But obviously my parents did believe me, and my uncle, they ended up having to believe me because I was too much like, this is scary. So we decided to move out of that house. And the craziest part, our caretaker never believed us. So we'd already moved out, but we left our stuff there. So we used to go back and get things, bit by bit. We were moving bit by bit slowly. We just didn't live there. So, but the caretaker, she stayed there until we fully moved out. So one day we went back and she was outside crying. And we were like, what's wrong? And she goes, I heard a child crying in my mum's bedroom. She's like, I heard a child crying near the curtains. And it was a legit cry. And she was shaking. She didn't want to go back inside the house. She was crying. And behind our house, where my mum's curtains were, it was a plot. So it was an empty plot. There's no houses there. There's no fields there. Nobody's allowed there. It was just empty, right? So it couldn't have, and it was like at nighttime. So she was like, I was like, I told you. You didn't want to believe me, but I was telling you this from the start. Oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, you see all you people that didn't believe me, and now what do you have to say for yourselves? So yeah, that happened. But let me tell you the craziest part, right? The craziest part that happened. This was the most mind-boggling, right? Because this time my mom experienced it, my dad experienced it, his cousin experienced it, right? So there was 4 of us, and we were getting the last bits and bobs out of the house. And me and my mom were downstairs. We were putting clothes in the suitcase. And my dad and his cousin were upstairs on the roof. They were doing something with the wires. I don't even know what they were doing. But it was something to do with a satellite or something like that. So me and my mum are putting the clothes in the bag. And we hear footsteps coming downstairs. So my mum goes, oh, they're here. Come on, let's go. Hurry up. Put this in the bag. So we walk out of the room and there's nobody there. And I look at my mum and I'm like, you heard that, right? And she goes, yeah, they came downstairs. So we were like, okay, never mind. We just went and carried on packing. Then my dad and his cousin come downstairs and they were like, why did you not pass me the screwdriver? And I was like, huh? What? And he goes, yeah, you came upstairs and I asked you to pass me the screwdriver, but you didn't give it to me. You just walked away and shut the door. And I looked at my mom and I was like, Mom, I've been here this whole time, right? And she goes, yeah, we've been downstairs the whole time. I don't know why my eyes are getting teary, because it makes me shook every time. Every time I talk about this bit, it just gets me like, oh my God, this was so crazy. But yeah, anyway. And we just stared at each other for a good few seconds, so I was like, okay, what happened? And he goes, oh yeah, sorry, that's like dust particles. He goes, I was getting the wires down, but I needed a screwdriver to open something. And I heard someone coming inside the door, open the door, come inside the door. So I thought it was you guys. And I asked you to pass me the screwdriver 3 times. And then I just heard someone walking away and shut the door. And we were like, oh my God, that is actually crazy. That's so creepy. And then they were like, oh, and then they came downstairs with a bag or something, right? And we were like, oh, what's that? And they were like, oh, you don't want to see it. And we were like, no, what is it? And they opened the bag. Let me kid you not. It was bones. I'm not even joking. There were actual bones in the bag. We don't know what it was. It was a cow or something. But there was bones. But yeah, and after that, we moved out. And that's it, really. Thank God they didn't follow us or whatever not. But yeah, that was the craziest paranormal experience that I have had. I never thought I would experience something so close. that I could hear, and you know, it was actually crazy. But what it taught me, what I learned from that, is that fear is in your mind. Whatever happens, you can control your fear, and nothing can put fear upon you unless you let it. And this is something that I always teach my kids as well. You know, my son's always like, oh, I'm scared after he watches something scary or something. I can't go to bed. And I'm like, nothing can harm you unless in your mind you think it can, right? Like, everything is controlled by God, by Allah. Nothing can overpower us or harm us unless He wills. And we have so many ways to protect ourselves: prayer, you know, the focals and all that stuff. So just stick to that if anything happens. And yeah, we moved out after that. Everything was fine, and my fear decreased. So before that, I used to be scared here and there, but after that happened, I stopped getting scared. Like, I've had experiences even after that, like little things here and there. In Pakistan, you get a lot of paranormal stuff happening to you, you know. So, but yeah, after that, it was all good. I was fine, and I've just learned to, like, don't let anything get to me. Even over here, because the houses are so close, you hear creepy noises all the time, especially at night. When your neighbor goes up his stairs, you can hear him go up his stairs. You know what I mean? And it will sound like it's your own stairs or something. But it's like, just ignore everything. And yeah, just be like, can't touch this. Can't touch this. Yeah. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. It was 100% the truth, no lies or whatsoever. And I hope you do enjoy watching it. Let me know if you want us to do any more story times. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye.